Defense feels honorable. It is not. Defense is rank confession. The moment you defend yourself, you accept one fatal assumption, that the other person had the authority to accuse you. That single acceptance collapses hierarchy. You didn't protect yourself. You stepped down. You were trained to believe defense equals integrity. Explain yourself. Clarify intent. Correct the misunderstanding. That training produces compliant men. Morality is not power. Morality is a story used to extract behavior. In hierarchies, stories don't matter. Positions do. Defense does not prove innocence. It proves reactivity. Every attack carries a frame. The frame says you owe a response. Defense accepts that frame automatically. Once accepted, the game is over. You are now inside their territory, arguing rules they set, under conditions they control. The attacker becomes judge. You become petitioner. Petitioners do not hold rank. Attacks are cheap. A sentence, a joke, an accusation. Defense is expensive. It costs time, emotion, status, predictability. Low-cost attack, high-cost defense. That asymmetry exists to trap intelligent but naive men. Smart men think they can out-argue traps. They can't. Traps aren't beaten with intelligence. They're avoided with position. Crowds don't listen to explanations. They watch behavior. Defense signals urgency. Urgency signals fear. Fear signals vulnerability. Vulnerability invites pressure. The crowd doesn't think you're innocent. They think you're affected. Affected men are movable. Movable men are ranked lower. Your nervous system hates unresolved threat. An accusation creates threat. Defense feels like relief. Relief is not power. It is discharge. Discharge leaks status publicly. Attackers rely on this reflex. They provoke, then wait for you to empty yourself explaining. Once emptied, you're manageable. Attackers are not dominant. They're insecure performers. They attack to stabilize their own rank. Your defense does their work for them. You regulate their anxiety by sacrificing your position. They feel better. You move lower. Once you defend once, future attacks become easier. You've shown willingness. Willingness is permission. Permission invites repetition. This is how hierarchies harden. Not through force, through compliance disguised as decency. This kills one identity, the identity that believes being understood equals being safe. That identity is obsolete. Understanding doesn't protect you. Position does. Defense is not strength. Defense is voluntary subordination. Strength is refusing the premise. You don't deny accusations. You invalidate the authority to make them. This fractures the moral reflex. It removes defense as instinct. It creates discomfort around explanation. It exposes fairness as irrelevant. Something collapses here. The belief that being right protects you. That collapse is necessary, because once defense dies, something else becomes possible. Not argument, not justification, silence. And silence does not submit. Attacks are cheap. Defense is expensive. That imbalance is not accidental. It is the engine. One sentence costs nothing. One joke costs nothing. One accusation costs nothing. But defending costs everything: time, emotion, status, predictability. This is the asymmetry law: low-cost attacks, high-cost responses. The system is designed so the attacker risks nothing, and you risk position every time you react. Reaction is not communication. Reaction is payment. Every defense is a transaction. You pay attention. You pay energy. You pay rank. The attacker collects. That is the reaction economy. Most men think interactions are social. They are not. They are economic. Every insult is a test transaction. Every reaction confirms the market works. No reaction, no profit. Silence collapses the economy. That is why silence is dangerous. Attackers don't want conflict. They want return on investment. They throw cheap attacks to see who pays. If you react once, You are marked as profitable. Profitable targets get harvested repeatedly. This is not personal. It is efficient. The hierarchy does not reward fairness. It rewards extraction. Defense is extraction with consent. You feel moral defending yourself. The system feels satisfied draining you. Crowds participate unknowingly. They don't judge truth. They judge stability. Reaction signals instability. Instability signals weakness. Weakness invites more tests. The crowd aligns with the extractor, not because he is right, but because he is not leaking. Silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates fear. Fear halts extraction. That is why attackers escalate when ignored. They raise volume. They sharpen words. They recruit witnesses. Escalation is not strength. It is panic behavior. Panic means the transaction failed. A failed transaction exposes hierarchy. The attacker becomes the one trying. Trying is lower rank. You didn't dominate him. You denied his economy. That denial hurts more than retaliation. Defense gives attackers closure. Silence gives them confusion. Confusion destabilizes their nervous system. Their biology expects feedback. Without it, stress accumulates. Stress leaks through micro-expressions. The crowd notices. The attacker loses credibility without you saying a word. This is judo without movement. They push. You don't resist. Their force carries them forward into imbalance. Reaction economy collapses because you stopped paying. Praise runs on the same engine. Compliments extract alignment. Alignment extracts predictability. Predictable men are manageable. Manageable men are assigned roles. Roles replace authority. Authority requires unpredictability. Unpredictability begins when reaction ends. Your biology will resist this. Your nervous system equates reaction with relief. Relief feels good. But relief is discharge. Discharge empties you publicly. Empty men are easy to control. This is why silence feels heavy. It is pressure without release. That pressure terrifies insecure performers. They need reaction to regulate themselves. You deny it. That denial flips hierarchy. Install this inversion now. Reaction is not strength. Reaction is confirmation of vulnerability. Silence is not weakness. Silence is extraction denial. Once you see the economy, you can't unsee it. You stop hearing insults. You see transactions. You stop feeling attacked. You see cost-benefit analysis. And when you stop paying, the market moves on. Attackers seek easier prey. Crowds recalibrate. Hierarchy adjusts. Not loudly, not dramatically, systemically. The moment reaction dies, power changes hands. And it doesn't announce itself. The attacker is not confident. He is performing. Performance is not dominance. Performance is compensation. Mockery does not come from surplus power. It comes from rank anxiety. Secure men don't need witnesses. Insecure men collect them. That is why mockery is public. That is why accusations are loud. That is why jokes sharpen when eyes are watching. The attacker is not trying to win. He is trying to stabilize himself. He feels pressure. He feels comparison. He feels threat without proof. So he creates a stage. If you react, the stage works. If you defend, the script completes. Your reaction regulates his nervous system. You calm him by sacrificing yourself. That is the insecure performer. He does not seek truth. He seeks validation. He needs confirmation that he still belongs above someone. Mockery is his probe. Your reaction is his measurement. When you react, he exhales. When you explain, he settles. When you justify, he stabilizes. Your biology becomes his medication. That is not power. That is dependency. Watch how performers behave when reaction disappears. They escalate. They repeat. They get louder. Escalation is not confidence. It is narcissist panic. Their identity depends on response. Without response, they feel erased. Erasure terrifies them more than confrontation. That fear leaks. It leaks through voice cracks, through forced laughter, through recruitment of allies. They start crowd triangulation. They look around for support. They seek mirrors to confirm existence. This is the moment hierarchy flips. Because you are still. Stillness is not absence. Stillness is control under pressure. The crowd sees it. Crowds do not protect fairness. They align with stability. The performer needs movement. You do not. That difference is everything. The performer confesses insecurity every time he tries again. He reveals fear of silence, fear of being ignored, fear of falling out of relevance. Relevance is his oxygen. You deny oxygen. That denial is ghosting dominance in real time, not disappearance, presence without acknowledgement, active non-existence. You are there, you simply refuse to feed. This creates a double bind. If he escalates, he looks unstable. If he retreats, he loses face. There is no winning move. You didn't trap him. His need for validation did. This is judo pull without motion. He pushes harder. You don't resist. His momentum carries him into exposure. Exposure collapses mystique. Mystique only survives when observers believe confidence is real. Silence punctures illusion. Once punctured, it doesn't repair. This is why attackers avoid unreadable men. Unreadable means untargetable. Targeting requires prediction. Prediction requires patterns. Patterns require reaction. No reaction, no pattern. No pattern, no aim. The insecure performer knows this instinctively. That is why he selects targets who flinch, who explain, who defend. Those signals mean easy regulation. You remove those signals. He panics. Panic leaks hierarchy. The crowd senses it before language catches up. You don't feel superior. You feel detached. Detachment is altitude. From altitude, behavior becomes visible. You stop hearing words. You see motives. You stop feeling attacked. You observe extraction attempts. This detachment kills emotional hooks. Hooks need skin. You've grown armor, prediction armor. The attacker wanted reaction. You gave observation. Observation reverses power. Because the observer judges the field, the performer is trapped inside it. This is the psychological superiority shift. Not arrogance. Not aggression. Structural dominance. You are no longer the subject of his performance. He is the object of your audit. And once you see that, mockery loses its bite. Not because you are stronger, because you are no longer available. Available men get used, unavailable men get avoided. That is selection law. And selection law always wins. The attacker wanted to move you. You moved nothing. He revealed himself. You stayed intact. Hierarchy noticed. Silence is not passive. Silence is systemic threat. Noise maintains systems. Reaction fuels hierarchies. Silence starves them. Every social arena runs on extraction. Attention in, status out. Mockery is a low-cost investment. Reaction is the return. When you go silent, the return collapses. That collapse is felt instantly. The attacker expected resistance. He prepared for defense. He rehearsed dominance. He did not prepare for nothing. Nothing has no surface, no grip, no counter. Silence removes the battlefield. Without a battlefield, rank tests fail. This is why silence terrifies performers. They cannot locate themselves without reflection. Their identity requires bounce back. You remove the bounce. The frame collapses. Silence creates a vacuum. Vacuum forces pressure redistribution. The attacker feels it first. His nervous system spikes. His breathing changes. His tone shifts. This is narcissist panic, not emotional panic. Biological panic. The panic of losing relevance mid-performance. He escalates to reclaim extraction, louder jokes, sharper insults, recruitment of witnesses. This is crowd triangulation under stress. He needs the room to side with him. But crowds don't side with aggression. They side with stability. Your silence broadcasts stability, not confidence, not dominance. Control. Control bends rooms. The crowd begins to watch him instead of you. Attention shifts axes. He becomes the spectacle. You become the anchor. This is observer gravity. The observer who does not move becomes dangerous. Movement signals need. Stillness signals surplus. Surplus attracts alignment, not emotional panic. Biological panic. The panic of losing relevance mid-performance. He escalates to reclaim extraction, louder jokes, sharper insults, recruitment of witnesses. This is crowd triangulation under stress. He needs the room to side with him. But crowds don't side with aggression. They side with stability. Your silence broadcasts stability, not confidence, not dominance. Control. Control bends rooms. The crowd begins to watch him instead of you. Attention shifts axes. He becomes the spectacle. You become the anchor. This is observer gravity. The observer who does not move becomes dangerous. Movement signals need. Stillness signals surplus. Surplus attracts alignment. The crowd doesn't consciously decide. Their biology does. They sense who can absorb pressure without leaking. You are absorbing pressure. He is leaking. That leak confuses rank. Rank confusion creates hesitation. Hesitation destroys momentum. Momentum was his weapon. Silence disarms it. This is extraction denial in real time. He cannot profit without your reaction. He cannot exit without loss. Double bind activates. If he retreats, he loses status. If he continues, he exposes desperation. There is no clean outcome. You didn't attack him. You removed his economy. That is more lethal than confrontation. Silence is not absence of speech. It is refusal to transact. Transactions define hierarchy. You refuse the deal. Now his behavior looks expensive. Every word costs him credibility. Every escalation increases audience doubt. Why is he trying so hard? That question poisons him. Poison spreads faster than logic. Silence allows poison to work. You don't defend. You don't explain. You don't react. You watch. Watching is not weakness. Watching is positioning. From that position, you see the entire pattern. You see his insecurity confession leak through posture, through forced humor, through eye flicks toward witnesses. The room sees it too, not verbally, viscerally. This is how silence causes rank confusion. No declaration, no confrontation, just imbalance. Silence reframes the narrative without words. He wanted to frame you as target. You framed him as unstable by doing nothing. Frame inversion complete. This is why silence must be controlled. Silence with emotion leaks vulnerability. Silence with stillness radiates command. You are not sulking. You are unavailable. Unavailable men cannot be extracted from. Extraction failure triggers primal fear. Fear escalates behavior. Behavior exposes hierarchy. Hierarchy reorders itself. This is the systemic threat. Silence does not attack individuals. It destabilizes systems. Systems defend themselves by sacrificing weak nodes. The performer becomes that node. He overplayed. You did nothing. Nothing was enough. This is why silence is rare. Most men cannot tolerate vacuum. Their identity screams to fill it. They would rather lose rank than feel erased. You choose erasure over explanation. That choice rewires your position. You are no longer reactive matter. You are environmental pressure. Rooms adjust around pressure. They always have. And once you understand this, you stop thinking silence is politeness. You see it for what it is, a weapon that never swings. You are not inside the exchange anymore. You are above it. This is the observer axis. Most men live on the reaction plane. They trade words. They trade emotions. They trade status unknowingly. You step off that plane. When you stop participating, the geometry changes. Rooms don't reward noise, they reward orientation. The one who orients becomes reference, the rest become motion. Motion obeys reference. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Crowds are not democratic. They are gravitational. They move toward what doesn't move. Stillness is mass. Delay is weight. Unreadability is density. Together, they bend behavior without contact. You've seen this before, but misread it. The quiet man everyone watches. The one who speaks last. The one others check before laughing. He isn't liked. He's located. You become that location. Observer axis positioning means this. You are no longer reacting to the room. The room reacts to you, not consciously, biologically. The nervous system tracks threat through unpredictability. A man who reacts is predictable. A man who delays is dangerous. Delay signals calculation. Calculation signals dominance. This is why attackers rush you. They want to force reaction before the room recalibrates. Reaction keeps you horizontal. You deny it. You wait. Waiting is not hesitation. Waiting is territory testing. You watch posture, breath, eye movement. Who leans in? Who looks away? The room tells you everything when you stop talking. Talking blinds you. Silence sharpens perception. From the observer axis, you see hierarchy leaks. You see who performs, who defers, who scans for approval. You see the insecure performer trying to regain control. He jokes louder. He repeats the insult. He recruits laughter. He is not dominant. He is afraid. Fear accelerates behavior. Acceleration exposes weakness. The crowd feels it. They don't label it. They sense it. Their bodies turn slightly away from him. Their attention flickers back to you. Why? Because you didn't move. You didn't defend. You didn't counter. You didn't perform. You occupied. Occupancy without announcement terrifies insecure systems. This is observer danger. The observer is dangerous because he sees without revealing. Visibility without exposure is power. Exposure without visibility is weakness. You invert the exchange. They show everything. You show nothing. This creates prediction failure. Prediction failure creates anxiety. Anxiety destabilizes rank. This is the gravity shift. The room slowly adjusts its orientation, not toward fairness, toward stability. Stability feels safe. Safety attracts alignment. Alignment creates authority. You didn't claim authority. You allowed it to form. This is why words are overrated. Words are tools for those without position. Position makes words optional. From the observer axis, you choose engagement selectively. You don't respond to everything. You respond to nothing until leverage appears. This is attention withdrawal. Attention is fuel. You starve what seeks to burn. The performer panics. He escalates or collapses. Either way, the outcome is the same. The crowd recalculates. They stop watching you as a target. They start watching you as a reference point. That is the axis shift. Once this happens, confrontation becomes unnecessary. Dominance is already decided. You don't win arguments. You end games by not playing. This is judo without movement. They push. You don't resist. They fall forward into exposure. Your stillness becomes the blade. No swing, no blood. Just removal of balance. From this position, insults lose function. They don't land. Not because you are strong, because there is nowhere to land them. No surface, no hook, no return. This is the architecture of control. You are not louder. You are not crueler. You are elsewhere, above the transaction, watching, selecting, letting gravity do the work. This is observer axis dominance. And once you stand here, you never rush to speak again, because the room speaks first. You no longer carry an identity that needs protection. That identity is dead, the one that explained, the one that clarified, the one that defended intentions. That version of you was a liability. Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites testing. Testing drains rank. You felt this instinctively, but never named it. Every time you explained yourself, you shrank the perimeter. Every defense admitted jurisdiction. You allowed others to judge you. That ends here. The undefended identity is not passive. It is unavailable. Unavailable to accusation, unavailable to interpretation, unavailable to manipulation. You don't argue your character. You don't prove your motives. You don't justify silence. You let others project. Projection reveals more than interrogation ever could. This is prediction armor. A defended man can be modeled. An undefended man cannot. Prediction fails around you. Failure creates unease. Unease shifts hierarchy. The shamer no longer knows where to strike. He reaches for language. It slides off. He reaches for morality. It dissolves. He reaches for crowd approval. The crowd hesitates. Why? Because there is no signal to attack. No emotional heat, no reaction leak, no identity surface. This is where domination becomes implicit. You are elsewhere, above the transaction, watching, selecting, letting gravity do the work. This is observer-axis dominance. And once you stand here, you never rush to speak again, because the room speaks first. You no longer carry an identity that needs protection. That identity is dead, the one that explained, the one that clarified, the one that defended intentions. That version of you was a liability. Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites testing. Testing drains rank. You felt this instinctively, but never named it. Every time you explained yourself, you shrank the perimeter. Every defense admitted jurisdiction. You allowed others to judge you. That ends here. You are elsewhere, above the transaction, watching, selecting, letting gravity do the work. This is observer-axis dominance. And once you stand here, you never rush to speak again, because the room speaks first. You no longer carry an identity that needs protection. That identity is dead, the one that explained, the one that clarified, the one that defended intentions. That version of you was a liability. Explanation is exposure. Exposure invites testing. Testing drains rank. You felt this instinctively, but never named it. Every time you explained yourself, you shrank the perimeter. Every defense admitted jurisdiction. You allowed others to judge you. That ends here. Not declared, not enforced, assumed. When you don't defend, you don't accept frames. Frames die without agreement. Accusations require consent. You refuse it silently. Silence here is not tactic. It is identity state. Your nervous system no longer flinches, not because you are numb, because you are ranked internally. Self-ranked men don't negotiate value. They don't seek acquittal. They don't care to be understood. Understanding is for equals. Hierarchy doesn't explain itself. This is the final collapse. The collapse of the approval-based self, the version of you that wanted alignment, wanted fairness, wanted acknowledgement. That self was shaped for survival, not sovereignty. Survival reacts. Sovereignty selects. You now select what deserves response. Most things won't. That indifference is not coldness. It is filtering. Filtering is power. Without filtering, everything drains you. With filtering, only leverage reaches you. People notice the shift. They feel it before they articulate it. You speak less. You move slower. You don't fill gaps. Gaps intimidate. Gaps force others to reveal their urgency. Urgency is weakness. You are no longer urgent. That makes you dangerous. This is why attacks stop feeling personal. They become diagnostic tools. Every insult tells you who lacks rank. Every accusation reveals insecurity confession. Every escalation proves they lost control first. You don't need to counter. Their behavior convicts them. You let it. This is ghosting dominance, not disappearing physically, disappearing psychologically. You are present but unreachable, seen but ungrabbable. This terrifies systems built on extraction. They cannot hook you. They cannot harvest reaction. Their economy collapses. You didn't fight them. You outgrew the battlefield. This is the undefended identity, not invisible, unreadable, not passive, prediction-proof. You are no longer a participant in social games. You are the terrain. Others move across you. You do not move for them. That is the final inversion. The world adjusts to you, and you never explain why.